Welcome to Travelpop, one country, 10 minutes each week on Cavan Online Radio. On today's show, we're talking about Malaysia. That's right, folks, it's that Southeast Asian nation that's kind of at the end of that little mainland part of Southeast Asia before you hit those South China Seas and beautiful areas. Well, we're only going to be talking about continental Malaysia, that's the mainland area, because I did promise at the beginning of this series that I'd only be talking about countries that I've actually been to. So, mainland Malaysia, or also known as Peninsular Malaysia, the capital is Kuala Lumpur. It's a constitutional monarchy. It has some weird stuff about it where, for example, drug offences carry the death penalty if you're trafficking, if you're importing, exporting, etc. So don't be caught dealing. And even if you have just small usage, it's a 10-year prison sentence automatically. So that's one of the interesting things about it. The temperature in the area, because it's very equatorial and tropical, is 20 to 35 degrees Celsius, and it's very, 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 very wet kind of heat. Although in the highlands area, which is beautiful, that's the Cameron Highlands, it's 10 to 17 degrees. There's a typical monsoon climate. In October, November, you have a monsoon from the northeast on one side of the area, and that comes in and it's very heavy. Then there's a lighter monsoon from the southwest, the Indian side, and that's in February and March. So do adjust your travel times accordingly. There's three main areas to Peninsular Malaysia. The south region borders Singapore. It's called Johor. There's nothing there. There's nothing really interesting to see. You'll probably pass through it on a train. It's flat, featureless palm oil plantations. And try not to pass through during the dry season, because that's when they do all the burnings, and you can actually see that on satellite from space. It's an incredible, incredible, choking experience. And when I passed through there, yep, it was the dry season, and yes, my eyes watered and I choked to death every time I poked my head out of the train. On the east coast, it's a more Muslim area, and it's beautiful. You get a huge, huge multicultural influence there, and it's an incredible place. It's very, very, very wild, wilderness, adventurous, but we'll be coming back to that in a few minutes. The interior has the Cameron Highlands, which are a very, very cool area. So if you're travelling around Malaysia and you want to take a break from the tropical heat, take a train up into the Cameron Highlands and experience 10 to 17 degree relief from that 30 to 35 degree heat down in the lowlands and the coastal areas. There's also the interior region of the east coast, which is completely wilderness and a dense tropical jungle. Along the west coast, which is what most people experience, that's the developed area. It's Penang, Ipoh, Kuala Lumpur, Malacca and other developed areas. It's very developed and it has a strong Indian and British, French colonial influence as well. And strangely enough, an Armenian influence there. If you're looking for a place that's very kind of urban, very, very colonial, mix of cultures, that's absolutely your spot to be. Malaysia is one of the most multicultural nations on earth. It may be the most Malay, that's the type of people who live here, country in the world, but that's only 52% of the population. 27% of the population are actually Chinese, 9% are Indian, and the rest are a variety of different tribes, nations, ethnicities. So if you're looking for a melting pot of experience of different human cultures, Malaysia is definitely a place to visit. And it's an incredible, incredible place. It's a miracle that people live here in harmony and in peace as well. So what to go see and do? Well, most people go to Kuala Lumpur, that's the capital city. Kuala Lumpur has two experiences to it. On the one hand, it is an amazing crystal city of steel and glass and beautiful skyscrapers. And on the other hand, it's an old city. It's got the old colonial quarter, it's got India Town, it's got the Chinatown, the old markets and everything. So here's a few of the things that I love to experience when I was in Kuala Lumpur. I was there for a week once. Number one is the Petronas Towers. Everybody goes to the Petronas Towers. There's those double towers with the bridge in between. You've probably seen them in a few movies. You've probably seen them on TV or on the internet. And you can get up there for, I think it's about €10 or something like that, and you experience on the Sky Bridge beautiful views of the city below. And the parks below it are incredible. For a more authentic experience of the old world, go to the Old Town, also known as Chinatown. The two blend together. It's a Chinatown area, but it's also the Old Town markets. And it's an incredible experience of smells, noises, and everything else. If you're looking for what basically kind of like an Asian market town looked like, kind of 1800s, 1850s, if you want to go into a time machine, in other words, you should go there. The markets are awash with incredible experiences. You can go there and sample fruits that you've never seen before in your life. You can go and sample toads. There's toad soup that they serve, and it's I don't advise it. But if you want to try stuff that's very exotic and very different, definitely go there. There's also a beautiful, beautiful little karaoke bar on the corner of Old Town Chinatown, and it's a speciality Beatles karaoke bar. Beautiful, and if you can sing the Beatles well, they will give you free drink for the night. I know that personal experience. Third place to visit is called Little India. Little India is literally a little corner of Indian culture right there in the middle of Kuala Lumpur, and it's well worth visiting. It's a beautiful area, and the variety of foods and the chapatis and things like that you'll experience are incredible. If you're travelling north, the bus station, train station, etc., are near Little India, so bear that in mind. Other things to experience is the Kuala Lumpur Night Walk. They do some free guided tours, but for a few euro you can get a guided night walk around Kuala Lumpur from the city centre. It goes around some of the old areas as well. If you want to take a quiet break in Kuala Lumpur from the frantic, absolutely mad atmosphere of the city, there's the Bird Park and the Eco Forest Park. The Bird Park is amazing because the birds are very timid. You can go right up to them, take photographs, relate them, blah 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 blah. The Eco Forest is quiet. It's really nice, and sometimes it's nice to have that shade from the 30-35 degree heat, and in the city that can be driven up to 40 degrees, so it's nice to have a beautiful kind of shaded area. Okay, so we're moving on outside Kuala Lumpur, some of the other places to experience. From my own experience, to go to Penang Island and Georgetown is one of the most beautiful little towns in the world. Georgetown is one of those colonial towns that was built, but it's a combination of old British colonialism, French colonialism, Armenian descendants who settled there, Malay, Chinese, Indians and Thai people. It's one town. It's got the most amazing mix you could ever experience. The UNESCO Armenian Street. It's a street which has got Armenian culture and all the other cultures that I just mentioned blended into one. That is so culturally versatile that it's been named as a UNESCO heritage site. Go to Armenian Street, experience the food, just sip on a coffee and just watch the passers-by. It's incredible. Do try and get to the Dharmikarma Buddhist temple. It's a Burmese type of Buddhist temple. It has two huge white elephants outside, and it's got a Bodhi tree inside if you want to experience a little bit of Buddhist culture. Climb the Penang Hill. That's a really good experience. It is a tough climb, but if you want to get up there early and see the sunrise, it's 6:30 a.m. train. It's very short. It's like 5 minutes to the top. If you want to hike it, you got to give yourself an hour or two to get up there, but it is well worth it. Absolutely well worth it. The last thing to see in Georgetown is the Lek Lok Si Temple of Supreme Bliss. It is one of the largest Buddhist temples in Southeast Asia, and it is definitely worth seeing. Okay, so the two things we're going to be talking about next is that I experienced were diving and hiking in this country. Malaysia is a beautiful country for diving. It has tropical regions around the east coast, but remember, do not go there in particular times of the year. April to September only. Outside these seasons, the monsoon is likely to wreck your diving experience or completely cancel it for safety reasons altogether. If you want to experience pristine, beautiful beaches, reefs and just island paradises, the three areas that you should definitely go to are Perhentian, Redang and Tioman. Perhentian, Redang and Tioman. And try and experience them. It's an incredible area, incredible place. April to September only. If you're doing hiking, there's loads of hiking experiences in Malaysia. Malaysia's interior is a wilderness, and it's one of those areas that you can just get on guided tours and stuff. If I can suggest one though, it's the Gunung Gagau hike. This is the one-day hike up a mountain, and the one-day hike is relatively okay. It's you need to be fairly fit to do it. But the adventurous part is it's a 2-day river journey on a little tuk-tuk boat that brings you up to it. So it's really Indiana Jones type stuff. You're talking really adventurous 2-day hike. So that kind of brings us to the end of our show. I hope I got 10 minutes in there on Malaysia. That's Peninsular Malaysia. I haven't been to the islanded Malaysia, and maybe I'll go back and I can do another show based on that if Cavan Online Radio can pay for my flights and stuff. So don't forget, folks, Malaysia is a beautiful destination. It is cheap, easy to travel in, and phenomenally multicultural. So if you're looking for various cultures, if you're looking for an amazing food experience, if you're looking for wildernesses in the interior, if you're looking for tropical heat and golden beaches, but without the tourism franticness of Thailand and without the overdevelopment of Singapore, Malaysia is right between the two countries. It is the perfect place to visit. Please go there, and the people are incredible. Thanks very much. Chat to you next week.